First question, is it compulsory for women to wear niqab?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وآله وصحبه ومن اهتدى بهداه أما بعد. This is a frequently asked question. I don't know if they're serious or not. Every time we go, say, Sheikh, is it permissible? Is it mandatory to wear niqab? Or they ask on the ruling on music, or they ask on the ruling on watching movies. This question was asked a gazillion times. Know the answer. Wearing the niqab is an issue of dispute among scholars, and to go into details would require a lot of time, and I am inclined to say that it is mandatory upon women to cover from head to toe, with the exception of the eyes, so that they can see, simply because women are attractive. And the most beautiful thing in a woman is her face. When a man wants to get married to a woman, he doesn't ask about her figure or her complexion, even if she has the figure of a Miss Universe, hypothetically, or the hair of this or that, but she has the face of a gorilla. Well, no matter what, nobody's going to get married to her. So the face of a woman is what you wake up every morning to see. Either to say, you say Subhanallah, or you say A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem. So if you see this in the market in front of you, there is fitna. So the ayah in chapter 33, Surah Al-Ahzab, ayah number 59, Allah addresses His Messenger, Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu qul li azwajika wa banatika wa nisa'il mu'minin. He's addressing the three categories of women: wives, daughters of the Prophet ﷺ, and the women at large, all believing women. To do what? يُدْنِينَ عَلَيْهِنَّ مِنْ جَلَابِيبِهِنْ. To lower their garments from top to bottom, so that they would not be recognized and hence harassed. So we ask, what is the covering of the mothers of the believers? In verse 53, 6 ayahs before, the consensus of all scholars that they have to cover up their faces. There's no difference of opinion. Mothers of the believers must cover. So if they're mentioned in ayah 59, alongside with the daughters of the Prophet ﷺ and the women at large, this means that the women, the Muslim women, are ordered to cover like the mothers of the believers, which we all agree. Again, this is an issue of dispute. And what is safest for you on the Day of Judgment? If you don't cover and you follow the difference of opinion and you take the easiest one, and you come on the Day of Judgment and you find out that this was wrong, you'll be in trouble. But if you follow the safest one and you come on the Day of Judgment, you're safe 100%. And Allah Azza wa Jalla knows best.
The next question, what advice would you give to the youngsters of today?
Fear Allah.
That's it?
Come on. You want a realistic answer? Ask a realistic question. What is the advice you give to the youngsters today? Be kind to your parents. Study well. Make a lot of money. Stay away from haram. Try to memorize the Quran. Observe your salat in the first row. Make a lot of dhikr. Don't imitate the kuffar. Don't watch movies and listen to music. Well, the sky is the limit. What do you want me to say? Ask a specific question, because when you ask a generic question, you can't answer it except with a generic answer.
The next question, how do I deal with my husband's smoking habit?
Again and again and again. Smoking is what? MashaAllah, we have muftis here. No. Yeah, okay, it's my mistake. I'm asking a generic question. What do you expect, Einstein? Okay, I apologize. Don't be aggressive. Why are you so fighting and you want to jump into my neck? Smoking is a symptom. Not covering is a symptom. Listening to music is a symptom. Not praying on time is a symptom. You want to tackle these symptoms, tackle the main cause of the illness. So why is your husband smoking? Because his iman has deficiency in it, has weakness. Why is your wife not covering? Because her iman is little. Why your son is not praying in the masjid? Because his iman is weak. Strengthen the iman. So if you try to nag your husband about smoking, he may refrain, but he may not stop. He may do it behind your back, he may do it in the car, he may pick up other bad habits, and you keep on nagging and nagging and nagging. No, build up iman, build up the fear of Allah in his heart, build up to do what Allah wants. See, our problem in our marriages, alongside our other relationships, they're not based on Islam. If my marriage was based on Islam, on Iman, if I have a conflict with my wife, the moment I say, قال Allah, قال الرسول عليه الصلاة والسلام, and the scholars say this, done. Khalas, over. I'm not going to fight over something that has been already answered by Allah Azza wa Jal. But when we don't adhere to the Quran, to the Sunnah, or to what the scholars say, we have problems. So go back to the basics. See where the deficiency is with your husband. Try to build it up. Try to encourage him. Try to say positive things so that he could feel your love and your compassion and your encouragement instead of just keeping on criticizing everything he does. And inshallah, it will take some time, but it will inevitably work bi'idhnillah.
The next question is, I am 26 years old from Bangladesh and I have a job and I'm willing to get married to an Indian Muslim, but my father is against it. I've tried to explain it to him, but he is firm on his decision. If I marry her, he wants me that he will no longer consider me as his son. Kindly advise.
This is a very generic topic because there are so many elements involved. I can't give you a straightforward answer because I have to know what your condition is. If you're telling me, Sheikh, this woman is a practicing woman or non-practicing woman, but I am deeply in love and I am this far from falling into haram. I have the means to fall into haram, I will fall into haram, and I have to get married. And if I don't, I will lose my sanity, I cannot focus, I will be kicked from my job, I cannot do anything. This is different from someone, he says, no, I like her, and she looks fine, and I want to get married, and I'm always fighting with my father over the type of clothes and the color that I wear and my haircut and with, the food I don't like. And so we're always bickering and fighting. This is different from the first situation. So generally speaking, is she the last woman on earth? The answer is no. The sky is the limit. Consider her having a stroke and dying. What will you do? You will weep for a week and then look for someone else, right? Khalas, Allah yarhamha. May Allah have mercy on her. We will pray Jannah inshallah after Fajr. But if this is a difference, you see, you can't answer without knowing everything, sitting with the man, talking with him, seeing his relationship. Sometimes the guy says, Sheikh, I brought 10 women to my father and mother and they rejected them all. Why? They want my cousin. They promised my uncle that I will marry his daughter. And they will never speak to me. They're blackmailing me. They're doing this and they're forcing me to marry someone I don't want. So no, don't leave. Don't obey him. Obey them. Put your foot down. Say, Sheikh, but they're blackmailing me, they're forcing me. Akhi, if you're still suckling from your mom, go and get married as she wants you to. No, Sheikh, I'm a grown-up man. I don't suckle. I use bottle. Okay. Anyhow, you get my point. Huh? So, move on. You're a real man. Khalas. Don't marry someone you don't want, because they all come to me after 5 years with 3 children saying, Sheikh, I can't stay with her anymore. They all come to me for counseling. Okay, I'm getting paid. Alhamdulillah, that's good for business. But why did you agree? Sheikh, they blackmailed me and they did this, they did that. We will never talk to you. We will cut you from the inheritance. Think before you act of the consequences. By the way, all Islamic law and Sharia is based on consequences. Everything we do in Sharia is evaluated on the consequences. What will happen? This is what determines should I go forward or refrain. So I hope this answers your question.
The next question is it allowed to pray 2 rakah for your parents after they have passed away?
No. This is not from the Sunnah. What you do for your deceased is 1, make dua, as the hadith that Sheikh Salim mentioned yesterday. Number 2, give sadaqah, as per the hadith of Sa'd ibn Ubadah, may Allah be pleased with him. Number 3 and 4, do Umrah and Hajj, either personally or pay someone to do it for Umrah or Hajj al-Badal. So Sadaqah has underneath so many things. Building an orphanage, a masjid, printing a Quran, buying Qurans, printing beneficial knowledge, digging a well, feeding the poor. The sky is the limit. But praying 2 rak'ahs, no. Fasting, it's an issue of dispute. The most authentic opinion, you can fast only if the deceased had leftovers. He did not make up for a vow or a missed Ramadan, etc. And then his heirs can do that for him, but not voluntary prayer or voluntary fasting and the likes, and Allah knows best.
The next question is, what should I do if I wake up late for Fajr and realize it later in the day that I missed Fajr?
You pray it. What do you want me to do? The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, in the authentic hadith, whoever sleeps or skips a prayer or forgets it must pray it as soon as he remembers it or wakes up. There is no expiation other than that. So whether it's Fajr or any other salat, you totally forgot. And this happens, by the way. It happens with me. Oof, Sheikh, yeah. Sometimes we go off-roading or camping. Isha time is prayed in the masjid. So we go shower, clean, etc. It's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, go to bed, wake up in the morning, Dhuhr time. Oops, we didn't pray Isha. Because we're like clockwork. We're used to praying in the masjid. This particular day, we didn't pray in the masjid, so we took it for granted. Pray it immediately. Likewise, he who overslept and woke up to make up the Fajr, which is very, very difficult to imagine. But the moment you remember, or the moment you wake up, you immediately pray, and there is no expiation, as the Prophet had said, other than that.
The next question is, if I miss Maghrib while you stuck at work and the time of Isha came, can I pray Maghrib after the Adhaan of Isha or after the Salah of Isha?
No, you've skipped it intentionally. Salat is time bound. It has a beginning, it has an end. Agree? طيب. Can I pray it 1 minute before the Adhan? 30 seconds? 5 seconds? It has to be exactly at the time of the Salat. Likewise, I cannot pray it after the time expires intentionally, unless I have a legitimate reason, such as, I just mentioned it, 20 minutes later, Come on, guys, what are you doing? Forgetfulness or sleep. So these are two legitimate reasons. Of course, necessity. I am in the ambulance with my mom going to the ICU, an accident, I'm in the drowning, struggling. These are exceptional cases, but I'm at work. Come on for prayer. Yes, I'm going to finish this email. Come for prayer. Well, I have a meeting with the CEO. No, akhi, I have to finish my latte. No. Go and sleep. Don't make it up. Khalas, it's gone. It's like someone who's coming for Hajj. So he comes on the 7th day of the Hijjah, wearing his Ihram, comes to Jeddah airport. The customs officer stops him. Let me see. Oh, your visa is not valid. Please step aside. And they put him in detention. 5 days later, they say, sorry, you had a problem with your visa. It was not signed properly. The stamp was not done. Now you can go. So the guy on the 15th or 16th of the Hijjah, in his Ihram, where are you going? I'm going to Arafah. Arafah? People are back from Hajj, akhi. Yeah, but I was detained. What would I do? I had a legitimate reason. Can he go to Arafah and stand alone? Why? Because the time has expired. I hope this answers the question.
The next question is it permissible to buy a house on installments?
Again, this is too generic. What kind of installments? If he's buying the house by riba, interest-based, conventional loan, no, this is haram. If he's buying it from the owner, I am the owner of the house. Someone comes to me and says, Sheikh, I love your villa. I said, makes two of us. What do you want? He said, I want to buy it. How much? I said, 100,000 KD. And sometimes I make mistakes because the conversion is difficult. We don't buy 100,000, but yani, bear with me. So he says, I don't have the money in cash, Sheikh. He says, okay, I trust you. I know you. You're a man from a reputable family. I'll sell it for you for 120 KD, providing that you give me 1,200 a month. Is it acceptable or too much? I don't know. You know yani, what I meant. So there is no riba. Instead of, I said, what do you mean no riba? 100,000 cash or 120 in installment. Isn't this riba? Muftis. Now you're refraining, huh? I say, what's rolling on smoking? I say, haram. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. No, this is not riba. I'm selling my item for him, for 1 KD for him, for 2 KD for him, for free. He doesn't have the right to say, why you're selling it for 2 KD? It's mine. I give it for free or sell it for 1. You don't want to buy it? Go somewhere else. So likewise, the house, the property, as long as I'm possessing it and I give a fixed final amount, khalas, 120,000 KD, that's fixed. No late payment fees. If you're late a month or 2, I'm not going to increase. The 120,000 is fixed. This is halal. So you have to explain to me what kind of transaction when you say by installments, so I can say it's haram or halal.
The next question is, what is the ruling for ablution for the person who has a problem of frequent passing of urine?
It's the same thing with the ban with the diaper yesterday. We've answered it, right? So the one who has incontinence of or bloating or passing of gas continuously, if it doesn't stop, once the time starts and you want to pray, before you pray, you go and make wudu and you pray, regardless of what comes out from you. And this is extended, and you can pray, make tawaf, read Quran, do whatever, until the time is expired. Then you have to renew the wudu.
The next question is, if a wife does her duties towards her husband, but the husband is not fulfilling his duties, like her small wishes and desires, controls her money, also doesn't want to take her out of places, how can this attitude be tackled Islamically? Should she accept this without disobeying him?
The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, in an authentic hadith, أَدِّ الْأَمَانَةَ إِلَى مَنِ ائْتَمَنَكَ وَلَا تَخُنْ مَنْ خَانَكَ. Give whatever you've been entrusted with back to the lawful owner and do not betray who betrayed you. So you have to do your obligations. And another hadith, the Prophet said, alayhi salatu salam, said, "Addi ma alayk, wa salillaha ma lak." Do what you're obliged to do, and as for your rights, ask Allah for them. Now there are three categories of the society: the ruler, the husband, and the father. And in contrast, we have the citizens, the wife, and the children. So the ruler, the husband, and the father are obliged to do their obligations to the citizens, to the wife, and to the children. But if they don't do their obligations, the citizens are obliged to obey and be dutiful to their rulers. The wives are obliged to obey and always be ready for their husbands. And the children are obliged to be dutiful, respectful, and obedient to their parents, even if their parents do not do their rights. This is a trend in Islam. Do your obligations and ask Allah for your rights. Otherwise, life would not go on. It would be stagnant. Everybody says, nope, I'm not going to do this until you do this for me. And this life cannot go on. What did I answer your question? What was your question? Yeah, if he doesn't do. Now, having said that, there are some aspects that if the husband does not do, then the wife can raise red flags. So if he does not provide for her, she is not obliged to give him his rights of intimacy. He doesn't provide, he doesn't give her a house, he doesn't give her food, and she is on her own. And every night he says, Simon says, no, Habibi, go somewhere else. Doesn't work here. Today we're closed. No service, no network. Because he has to. Allah says in Ayah 34, chapter 4, Surah An-Nisa, الرِّجَالُ قَوَّامُونَ عَلَى النِّسَاءِ. Men are protectors and guardians of women. Because one, Allah favored men over women. Two, because what they spend over their wives. So if they don't spend, you have the right to refrain. Other than that, wallah, he doesn't take me out. He is not kind. He doesn't smile. He doesn't send text messages saying, I love you, I care for you. I feel dry in a relationship. These are not legitimate reasons and causes for you to withhold what Islam tells you to do to your husband, as I mentioned in my session. And Allah knows best.
The next question is, what is the ruling of eating from fast food joints in non-Muslim countries like US and UK?
Ya akhi, you have minds. You have minds on your road people put for you. You all know my opinion and controversy that scholars from XYZ they are taking, and Sheikh Asim. Akhi, I said this in a 15-minute long video on YouTube. I believe that eating the animals that were slaughtered by the people of the book is halal. And I stated in my video that in order for me to eat a meat, a sheep for example, it has to be one, slaughtered by a Muslim or a Jew or a Christian. Two, it has to be mentioned the name of Allah. Three, the slaughtering has to be through the Islamic way, which is cutting the arteries and the veins and shedding or making the blood gush out. So now, in chapter 5, verse 5, Surah Al-Ma'idah, وَطَعَامُ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ حِلٌّ لَكُمْ. Ibn Abbas says, and the consensus of all scholars of tafsir, the slaughtering of the animals that were done by the people of the scriptures is halal for you. Okay, Sheikh, how do we know that it was slaughtered in America? because we have reports that they stun, that they kill with a needle or with a nail or with a gun. And some of the brothers, mashallah, posted a video saying that this is taken from a facility that supplies meat to McDonald's in America. And I look at the video, it's somewhere in Africa. And it's so primitive and the recording is bad. And you can see that the workers are not up to the standards of McDonald's in America. So who should I trust? A random video? Now I said, the Prophet ﷺ was invited to a ram cooked by a Jewish woman. Was the intention of this Jewish woman good when she invited the Prophet ﷺ, or evil? It was evil because she placed a lot of poison in it. Why? She wanted to get rid of the Prophet ﷺ. But if he's a prophet, Allah will tell him. So he came, accepted the invitation, brought his friends. He did not ask the woman who is Jewish whether this is halal or haram. Meaning, was it slaughtered or you found it falling from a mountain? Some would say, yeah, because the default is they only eat kosher. They only eat halal meat. They only slaughter. That's good. That's the default. Now, why wouldn't the Prophet suspect when we know that she had ill intent? The least would have been that he would ask. We know that their monetary income is from what? The Jews. From riba, from embezzlement, from eating haram. The Prophet did not ask. So like the Clinton era, don't ask, don't tell. Over a different thing. So the Prophet went and ate, alayhi salam. So now I'm in America. And someone invites me to KFC. I hate KFC. I don't think it's meat. Seriously, it's not like al-Bake. If you know. Okay, I'm not endorsing al-Bake. Can you edit this, please? But KFC is tasteless. I don't find it. But someone invites me. I go. Do they cook pork? No. I say Bismillah and eat. Say, Sheikh, this is not slaughtered halal. I said, good. Jazakallah khair. How do you know? Oh, they don't slaughter. I said, how do you know? We know, Sheikh. We live in America. So I live in Saudi. Does this mean that I know all the slaughterhouses? You have to be realistic. So no, we heard reports. I heard reports that Colgate and Close-Up toothpaste contain pork. And soap contain pork. So are you going to refrain? There are hundreds of reports. Yes, but Sheikh, we saw a video where the cow is being thrown into a machine and it is with flamethrowers. Come on. What is this? Bring me evidence that can counter this. The companions came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, O Prophet of Allah, people bring us meat and we don't know whether it was halal or haram. Actually, they said, we don't know if they mentioned the name of Allah or not. The Prophet said, you mention the name of Allah and eat. Wouldn't it have been easy for the Prophet to say, ask them. When someone brings you meat, ask them, did you slaughter it? Did you say Bismillah? No, the Prophet said no. Don't do that. Don't ask. Because the default it is what? People of the book, it is halal. Now they came up with another strategy. Okay, Sheikh. How do you know they are people of the book? America is not a Christian country. There are so many atheists. There are so many atheists. Agnostic. Yalla, ma'alish. Agnostic. So in UK, 46% are not Christians. So how can you label it as a Christian country? Everybody knows that the people of America and the people of Europe are Christians. There are agnostics. But where will you find a country labeled Christian country? You will not find that. And the same ideology and analogy would be applied in, let's say, Turkey. How many Muslims are in Turkey? And how many agnostic and atheists? So if I go to Turkey, I cannot eat in the restaurants because I don't know? Oh, Sheikh, no one among the Christians say Bismillah. Is it true? But the ayah says, do not eat from what other than Allah's name was mentioned. And this is one of the interpretations of the ulama of tafsir. Because the meat we eat in Kuwait, you insist that I will not eat this until I hear the butcher say, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, or you will eat it. Who among us say, I will not eat meat until I hear it with my ears? Nobody. So if I go to Pakistan, would I refrain? Because some of them might be from different cults or grave worshippers or this or that, so I'm not going to eat any. Come on, the religion is easy, it's simple. If you don't want to eat in America or Europe, good for you. Be my guest, be vegetarian, eat seafood. But when I eat a big T-bone steak, medium well, with a mushroom sauce, you don't come and say, oh, Sheikh, shame on you. I am following the Quran and the Sunnah. And by the way, this is the fatwa of Ibn Baz and Ibn Uthaymeen. And some of the brothers, Jazakumullah khair, they brought the fatwa to counter my argument. And said, listen to the fatwa of Ibn Baz and Ibn Uthaymeen. You listen to it, and the fatwa is exactly what I said. But then they say, but if you are, quote unquote, certain that it was not slaughtered. See, the Sheikh says, if you are certain. I said, okay, are you certain? This meat provided for you by this restaurant, are you certain and able to stand on the day of judgment and say, Wallahi, this T-bone steak was not slaughtered? I said, no, but Sheikh, we've seen. The fatwa is clear. If you're certain, refrain. If you're not certain, what do we do? The Quran and the Sunnah says, say Bismillah and eat. If you don't want to eat, yeah, don't eat. Just leave me alone, please. And Allah knows best.
The next question is it better to give sadaqah to close relatives or to the poor Muslims?
Of course, to the poor, to the close relatives if they're poor. So if we have, and we mentioned this in the lecture yesterday, yesterday, in the beginning, about rights and obligations. If you have two individuals, both are poor, but one of them is a relative, definitely you give the relative because you get two rewards. Al-Jari dhil Qurba. But if the one that is not a relative is way poorer and more in need, no, you give the one who is more in need.
What proportion of wealth can be given to an adopted child?
There is no such thing as adopted child. We don't have adoption in Islam. This was banned as in the beginning of Surah Al-Ahzab, chapter 33, that Allah Azza wa Jal, in the beginning, adoption was legit. The Prophet ﷺ adopted Zayd ibn Haritha, and he was a slave bought by Hakeem ibn Hizam, the nephew of Khadija, may Allah be pleased with her, given to Khadija as a young boy. Khadija saw how much the Prophet was fond of him because he had no sons. They died in their infancy or in their childhood. So she gave it to him, and the Prophet adopted him, and he was known to be Zayd ibn Muhammad for some time, until Allah Azza wa Jal abrogated adoption. So khalas, no more adoption. So we don't have adoption. We have sponsoring an orphan or an illegitimate child or a child without a father. Now, if I have such a child, you and the Prophet ﷺ are like this on the Day of Judgment because of what you had done. How can I give him some of my wealth before I go? You can give him up to 1/3 of your wealth, because this is the legitimate amount of money that can be given away from a person after his death. This is the will. So I can give him 5%, 10%, up to 33.33%, nothing more.
How do you deal with family members who are not
Boycotting people is the easiest thing in the world. And this is not the answer to your problems. It's very easy. I don't speak to my uncle. I don't call my cousins. I don't communicate with my brother or my sister. Why? Wallah, they did something offensive. They smoked in my presence. They said an inappropriate joke. They don't respect this and that. No. This is not the way. Boycotting has rules and regulations. And only when, again, measuring by the consequence. If I boycott, would this bring them back to Islam and back to their senses? Yes, go ahead. If not, then no, don't do it. So what to do with them? Akhi, we told you symptoms and the chronic illness. What to do? Don't treat the symptoms by giving Panadol. Nothing's gonna change except temporarily. Rather go for the kill. Go for the illness itself. Elevate their iman, let them love you, let them respect you, let them believe in you, and little by little they will quit these things, the haram things, inshallah.
Next question is, why were all the prophets sent to the Arab region and not everywhere else?
How would you know that? Are you going to answer? Wallah, I answer. How do you know that all the prophets were sent to the Arabs? منهم من قصصنا عليك ومنهم من لم نقصص. Among the prophets and messengers that we've revealed to you, among them we haven't. So what we know of, but there are lots and lots that we don't know of. So you cannot say there is nothing in the Quran and Sunnah that claims that they were Arabs. To be specific, maybe Ismail and the Prophet ﷺ were only Arabs and the rest were non-Arabs. But maybe he's mentioning what? The Middle East. But again, this is what we know of. We don't know what happened in India or in China or in America. This is in Allah's knowledge. So what we know is all messengers and prophets were men. This is mentioned in the Quran. So no prophets or messengers among the women. And no prophets and messengers, according to most authentic opinion, among the jinn. And Allah Azza wa Jal knows best.
This looks like a question for the youth. Is football as a career halal?
There's an issue of dispute among scholars. It seems to me that it is halal if you're abiding by the Sharia. So you don't skip salat, and you don't engage in harming people or gambling or endorsing liquor or entertainment companies, and you do not expose your awrah and the likes. There's no problem in making money out of that, inshallah, realistically speaking. But what we see, one thinks twice about changing career at this age.
The next question is, do we need to perform Tawaf after performing Umrah?
It's an issue of dispute. Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen says yes. The vast majority of scholars say no. This is only related to Hajj, and I'm inclined to this opinion that it is not mandatory to perform Tawaf al-Wida' after finishing your Umrah. It's only for Hajj.
Next question is, what's the authenticity of a person who has already finished performing Umrah and wants to go back to the Miqat to do Ihram and perform another Umrah and another Umrah? Is that allowed?
This was never done by any of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, with the exception of Mother Aisha. And the whole of the Salaf, the scholars, the Tabi'een, they did not recommend or liked to perform Umrah except once for every journey. And what we see from the brothers coming and performing Umrah, then shaving part of their head, going to Masjid Aisha, doing Ihram and coming for another Umrah and shaving another head, and they end up like Mr. T. Ishad, I said, I have 3 more Umrahs, inshallah. What is this? No, this is not from the Sunnah. But is it accepted? The answer is yes. But you want what? You want reward. You want Sunnah. You want ajr. Now, if someone says, Shaykh, I'm coming from a very long, far away place, I don't have money, and probably this is the Umrah that I can do, and the next one can be after maybe 15 years. I don't know if I'm going to live that long. So I'd like to make a Umrah for myself, for my late father, for my late mom, for my siblings who are all dead. Because I know I'm not going to come except after 10 or 15 years. I say, inshallah, Allah Kareem. But those who live in Kuwait, come on, give me a break. You can come every week. You can come every month. So this is not recommended at all, and Allah knows best.
The next question is, can we make dua during Fajr prayer behind the Imam based on the recitation? For example, if the Imam recites an Ayah of Jannah, can we say, اللهم إني أسألك الجنة?
Some scholars limit this to night prayer, because the Prophet ﷺ, whenever he recited an ayah and he passed by an ayah of rahmah, he would ask Allah from His mercy, and if he passed by an ayah of adhab, of torment, he would seek Allah's refuge from that. So some scholars say that this can be cascaded to the fard as well, and inshallah, Allah is most merciful, most forgiving. If you do it, Allah will accept, and Allah knows best.
Regarding maintaining ties with relatives, if a blood relative cheats, creates fake documents, and claims false rights, filing lawsuits, etc., how to maintain ties with such a person?
Maintain ties, but take him to court. Yahi, don't mix apples with oranges. Your uncle is a liar, he deceits, he forged paper to take the inheritance of your father from his father, so that to deprive you, and plotted to do this. I get this every day from some subcontinent. I will not call the name. Every day I have tens of problems and counseling sessions and sitting, and I don't know if it's in the DNA or what. They love money. Subhanallah. And they don't fear the grave. They don't fear the hereafter. Some of them, they have problems, and the minute they sit with me and I just speak about the grave, khalas. They retreat and they feel their mistake and they give back. Others would come into your eyes, poke them. No, let them do whatever they want. So don't mix apples with oranges. They made a mistake. Don't kill them. You have a mosquito in the room. It's a mosquito DNA different with a fly. So they mixed up. I don't know, hybrid maybe. And you want to kill it. It's bothering you. You use a cannon, you're going to kill it. And everyone else in the room. And the whole house. This is an overkill. Treat them in proportional to their crime. So yes, don't be best friends with them and go to their house every week and dine with them, but don't cut them off. They're still your kinship. Take them to court, take them to the police, everything is legal, and still call them, how are you, uncle? I hope you're fine. Everything business as usual. If they boycott you and you try your level best, this is their sin, not yours.
The next question is, I have pain in my neck, so it's difficult for me to continuously look at the sujood area while praying. Is it better to close my eyes during Salah or keep my eyes open and look straight?
What's wrong with him?
The neck has a pain, so they cannot look down to the sujood.
No, as long as you have a necessity, no problem, inshallah. You can look straight. But is this logical? Yeah, because of your neck pain, you cannot look at the place of sujood? How are you going to tie your shoes? I don't know. Yeah, some questions, wallahi, may Allah protect us. But yes, if you cannot look at that place of the sujood, this is a sunnah. It's not mandatory. It's not fard or rukun of the salah. It's sunnah. So if you look straight, yes, there's no problem in that. If you close your eyes, this is not from the sunnah. Rather, keep your eyes open, and inshallah, your prayer is valid.
The next question is, if Allah has written everything that is going to happen in the al-Mahfuz, why doesn't He write that everyone will become Muslim?
Who dictates on Allah what to do and what not to do? A'udhu billah. What kind of a question is this? Allah says in Surah Al-Anbiya, لَا يُسْأَلُ عَمَّا يَفْعَلُ وَهُمْ يُسْأَلُونَ. Allah is not questioned about His actions. They are questioned. So no one can say, why doesn't Allah do this? Why doesn't Allah take your soul and burn you in hell forever? Answer me. because you don't want to. So Allah does what He wills. You have to understand few essential basic things. One, Allah Azza wa Jal owns everything in this universe. So if He takes everything in this universe and tosses it in hell, nobody can complain or say anything. It's His possession, it's His right. If I take 1 KD and I burn it, the new currency, can it be burnt? I don't know if it's I don't know. Anyhow, if I tried, can anyone say, what are you doing? It's my money, none of your business. Number two, Allah is fair and just. Allah would never have dhulm on anyone. So always put this at the back of your head. Number three, Allah is wise and knowledgeable. So if you have these components at the back of your mind and you know this, whatever happens in this universe, you're content with it. When you don't, you start arguing. You start objecting. Why is this? Why is that? And then this is a sign that you are not a true believer.
So we'll have 5 minutes of question answers, then we'll close inshallah. So next question is, yesterday you stated the hadith and declared it weak about reciting the Adhaan in the newborn's ear. Is this confirmed, or is the question is asking that they consider this as sunnah?
As I said, it is an issue of dispute, and the most authentic opinion is that the hadith is weak. All the hadith narrated in this field and that the Prophet ﷺ gave the adhan in the ear of Hassan, these are weak hadiths. But those, there are a huge amount of scholars who say, nevertheless we will do it. So if someone does it, is there a problem? If you believe that applying weak hadith in the virtues of deeds, not related to aqeedah, not related to halal haram, that is permissible, go ahead for it. If you don't, like I don't, then you should not do that, and Allah knows best. Don't be so technical. No, my way or the highway. We all have to be clones. We all have to follow the same thing. And if you don't, I'm not going to talk to you, I'm going to boycott you. No, this is wrong. This is too extreme. Someone thinks that it's legit. I'm following scholar XYZ. Good for you. But leave me alone again.
The next question is killing a lizard considered a good deed in Islam?
Is?
Killing a lizard.
Of course, the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, the Jaco, killing the house lizard in one strike is equivalent to 100 hasana, 100 good deeds. And the people of Medina, the elders tell me, they were so widely spread till now. Yani my uncles, my elders, they say when we used to see them, we used to do this, bare-handed. When I see one, I call my wife, and my wife calls the fire department, and we have, yani lizards has, subhanallah, something frightening. But it's a sunnah. One strike, you get 100 hasana. Sometimes you miss, and the tail goes alone, and it goes somewhere else. You try again, less than 100, the Prophet says. You try third time, less than the second time. But you will definitely get rewarded for that. Why? Why the lizard? Why not roaches, cockroaches? Some say because the only animal or insect or reptile or whatever it is classified as that tried to blow the fire for Ibrahim. All other animals tried to put it off except the lizard. The lizards kept on trying to build it up. That's why we kill it, because of aqeedah. Issues related to aqeedah, because this is what it was trying to do with Prophet Ibrahim, and Allah knows best.
The next question is, if someone wants to borrow money for investing in the business, and they say that they will borrow 2000 KD and fix 200 KD per month as return, can we take back return as 2400 KD for the 2000 billion?
I'm mixed. I'm خربط حياتي. I don't understand.
They invested 2,000 and they get 2,400 back in return.
As a condition?
Yes.
This is riba, clear riba. This is clear riba. The moment, see, an investment is something that you either profit or lose. Any type of investment that guarantees there is no loss, your capital is guaranteed, this is riba. Blindfolded. So you give 1 million. Do it. I don't care about the profit. 1%, 5%, 10% variable, no profit, but no problem. But I give you 1 million, you return 1 million back. No losses. Okay, the ship sank, the warehouse was burnt, million is back. This is riba. Immediately. Any fixed profit per month, okay, put 1 million, I give you 2,500 a month, riba. Immediately. It has to be a percentage of, not the capital, of the profit. So I invested 1 million, you don't say, I'll give you 5% of the capital. This is riba. You give me 5% of the profit. If there is a profit of 1,000, I get 50. 100,000, I get 500. Less, it goes up from the profit. The capital is different. But if I lose, if I face some losses, your million has become 800,000. And you have to be fine with that. Otherwise, it is haram.
The last question is it allowed to say salam to non-Mahrams?
Yes, it is, as long as there is no fitna. As long as there is no fitna, it is permissible to say salam. But if it's a man and a woman alone, and they're on the elevator going to the 80th floor, it is just because, assalamu alaikum. And also, smiling in the face of your brother is a sadaqah, so I give her a big smile. And maybe share some oud. Would you like some oud? Hey, wait, emergency button, jump. This is haram. What are you doing? This is not Islamic. But if it's a general place, my sister-in-law is with my brother, and I come into the car, they're driving me and say, assalamu alaikum. There's no problem. She's my sister-in-law. Oh, this is free mixing. No, it's not free mixing. What's free mixing is when you sit and chat and talk and argue and go into things that are inappropriate. This is free mixing. And before we conclude, one of the sisters sent me yesterday a paper. I couldn't read. My English is very bad, reading and writing and speaking most of the time, but may Allah forgive us. But I think she was asking about a dog being in the house for protection or for guarding the house for security. If it's for security for real, this is halal. Meaning if you're in a neighborhood that there are so many burglaries and break-ins to the houses and nothing is saving the people except a dog, yes. But if you're keeping a chihuahua and you say this is for guarding, no, this is a hot dog. You can eat it later on. No, I'm talking about German Shepherd, about the Doberman, about something that is scary. And it is for real. And it is kept outside the house. This is permissible. But if there is no need, there is burglar alarms and guards and etc. No, this is not permissible. Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. And Jazakumullah khair for your kind invitation. It's always fun for me to come to Kuwait, my second home. I say this to every country I go, but inshallah, I have so many second homes. But I always enjoy meeting the community, mashallah. They are caring, they're loving, and they're enthusiastic. You feel that they come to learn and to get closer to Allah. And every year, mashallah, we find progress. So inshallah, every year we're getting closer to Allah and getting closer to Jannah. And I pray that if we don't meet next year, maybe inshallah in Jannah, definitely we'll have a chit chat. Selfies are free anytime inshallah in Jannah or in here. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad.